Don't do that. If I create an action with adjusting any of the points here on any of these vector layers, it's an absolute point movement. So if I were to move this head from left to right, and I had already, like, if the head was over here, and I had to create an action while the head was here, the action's automatically going to pop those points to where it originally was, instead of following with the head. And the way you get around that is you have to add a bone layer so that the points move relative to the bone and not as an absolute record of where it is on the stage. So I'm going to do that right now. Bone. I'll call this head bone. Alright. And okay, we're going to go into the settings for actions. Go to depth sort. Choose sort layers by depth and sort by true distance. This is very, very important because I want this ear to go behind the head when it needs to, and I want this ear to come in front of the head when it needs to. And you're going to do the same for the bone layer because it also has depth sort. Sort layers by depth, sort by true distance. And on this bone layer, I'm going to add a bone. Perfect. Okay. Now, again, the important thing about actions is you always have to be make sure you're always at the top layer, the top group folder, and be sure that you're creating your actions on this layer and that you're applying your actions on this layer. Otherwise, your project can get really messy and things won't behave the way you expect. So always, always apply your actions here. And I'm going to put this in capital letters. A few exclamation points to get my point across. Now, let's see, let me get my actions window up and running. I'm going to do the same thing I did last time. I'm going to create a 3/4 view, but there's going to be some differences. And I think you guys are really going to like this. Okay, now I'm in the 3/4 view actions timeline. You can tell because now we've got that nice sky blue background again in the timeline instead of the white one, which would signify we're in the main line. And I'm going to select the eyes and mouth, take the magnet tool, move those into a 3/4-ish looking position. That's pretty good. And then I'm going to go to the left ear layer. Now, notice when I selected the left ear, the blue background disappeared. That's because the program automatically pops us to the main line, and I think that's because the developers really didn't design Anime Studio to work with multiple layers. This just seems to be one of those things that they kind of overlooked. But it's such a great feature. We're gonna to get back into that 3/4 view action. You just click it again on the timeline, and then you with your ear layer already selected. And I'm gonna change translate layer value, and I'm gonna move it a minuscule amount backwards, like something like -0.000, negative 0.001 in Z space. And voila, it's right behind the head now. And, I did something wrong here. Remember, actions can't take place on frame 0. You have to move it to frame 1. And I think I did the same thing with the eyes. Oh, crap. Alright, so fair enough. We'll just start over. Go with the eyes. Make sure now I'm on frame 1. make sure I'm on the actions layer. And I'm going to create an action, call it 3/4 view again. It's kind of good that you're seeing my mistakes so that you'll know not to repeat them. Okay, now go back to the eyes and mouth layer. We'll take the magnet tool, position this sort of into a reasonable looking 3/4 view. We'll now go to the left ear, double click 3/4 view to make sure you're in actions. Now I've got the left ear selected. Oops, and I just did another mistake. I entered actions on the left ear vector layer. No, you have to enter actions when you're on the actions timeline, actions vector layer. So do it from here, and then select your left ear. Okay. And now do -0.001. Bam! Look at that. That's beautiful. Okay. And I'm going to create a keyframe for that. In this case, it's the keyframe for the layer transition, which it automatically did for me right there. Now, let's see, I'm going to move the right ear a little bit. Make sure you're in your actions layer, enter 3/4 view, select your right ear, and you can move the ear a little bit forward like that. You can even scale it up a little bit if you wanted to. So it looks like it's moving towards you. Okay, I'm done with the 3/4 view, and I'm going to go back to the main line, and now I'm going to do the front view. Now I'm going to select the left ear layer, and we're going to change the Z layer value for that to 0. Now I'm going to do it to 0.001. That's a positive value, so it should now be in front of the face. And there, we created our keyframe on frame 1. Now I've got to go back to the main line, make sure I have my actions layer selected. Now I'm going to click on front view again. I'm going to go to the eyes and mouth layer, and you got to keyframe those two. Now I'm going to go back to the main line, click on the front view actions again, click on the right ear, and I'm going to create a keyframe for the point motion for this position here.